Welcome back to Benny's Custom Works, proudly supported by Valvoline and Sparesbox. Don't forget Benny 5 on checkout. This week, finally, not a Falcon. We are working on the Pajero Mini today. We're putting in a DDPAI dash cam. It's a dual dash cam, so we've got a 4K camera at the front, 1080 at the back. It's got lots of cool features. We're going to run through that later. And we're also going to be putting a set of shocks in it. And there's a funny reason as to why we're putting those shocks in, but we'll get to that also. So going to dive on in. We'll throw the dash cam in first, set it all up. Hook up to the app as well. It does have an app, so that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, we'll get it up and running and see how it works. Let's dive on in.
What do you actually need a dash cam for?
Someone actually hit the Pajero the other day.
Oh,
and it's not bad, but it just annoys me because all that stuff got painted. Like, we've repaired all that. True. And someone ran into it and just bailed. I was literally parked for like 5 minutes at the shops. Damn. And someone whacked it. Damn. And this camera is cool because it's got like radar detection, so the ignition doesn't even need to be on, and it will recognize potential issues or threats. So it's pretty cool that it does it. The radar actually works front and rear too. Admittedly, I did already unbox this stuff and I lost the box, so sorry about that.
Got too keen on the unpackaging.
I know, right? So this is the radar. It's pretty small, and it actually daisy chains into the front dash cam, so there's no separate power cables. So the power goes. Well, and this is the other thing I want to talk about actually, is the power cable comes with an OBD adapter. So you can either run it just a USB cable directly to a cigarette lighter, but if you do that, you don't have the recording while not on function. Whereas as soon as you go to the OBD, this picks up power, constant power, and it runs directly from the OBD socket up to the radar, which then powers the dash cam, which powers the rear camera. So yeah, it's a pretty cool setup. And I've actually just noticed on this OBD connector, you can switch it. If you don't want it to record all the time, you can go just to accessories, or you can go to 24-hour mode, which will continually record. So probably handy if you are like the Pajero. I don't drive every day, so being able to switch it between both modes is pretty handy. The other cool thing is it does actually have active battery monitoring as well. So once it gets to a certain threshold, it'll stop recording, so it won't kill your battery. So if your car does sit for a certain amount of time, you could still just leave it rolling on 24-hour mode, and it's not going to actually you're not going to come back to a flat car in 3 days. So yeah, pretty cool setup. So that's the rear camera. It's pretty neat.
I did read on the box that you can plug in an external micro SD card up to.
Oh, you can put it in the camera?
Yeah, up to 512 gigabytes. So that should be nice. That should be plenty of recording.
These are all words about cameras. These are your words.
It's also got dual recording, I think I read on the box.
Yeah, right.
So it records to the internal memory as well as the external SD card.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
And it must just constantly loop.
Yeah, just so you got a backup always.
Yeah, nice. That sounds like us having 7 million backups. I reckon that's pretty neat. Just bash that in there somewhere.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And then I'm going to drill, and I'll put a grommet here, and then run the cable across, and then we've got to run it obviously through here. And I think the easiest thing is going to be to pull these trims off and run it high rather than low, because we're going to run it up to the dash cam anyway. And I think what I may actually do is put the excess cabling in the tailgate rather than try and bunch it all up at the front. So once we kind of get our vibe, we'll actually start the cabling at the front, run it around, and then bunch the spare cable up in the tailgate. Because the problem is there's not really a lot of room to store the surplus cable on the front of the car. So, and being that this is a universal kit, it's obviously not made for a Pajero Mini, so there will be excessive cable length that, yeah, we'll just tie up conveniently with either one of these bands or one of the Velcro tethers they give us. So we'll run the cabling and then get this thing mounted up. Make sure you clean your glass too.
How do you mount it? Is it double-sided tape?
Yeah, it's just double-sided tape, and they actually give you spare ones too. Remember you used to clean it with like the cheapest home brand glass cleaner and newspaper?
No, newspaper?
Yeah, apparently newspaper's a thing for cleaning glass.
For some reason in school we sanded with newspaper, like at the very, very end for a nice finish.
Sanded with newspaper?
On wood.
What?
Yeah. Ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, I thought it was weird too.
Yeah, maybe your school just didn't have sandpaper. You weren't trusted with sandpaper. Tell us in the comments if sanding with newspaper is a thing or if Jan's school just got him good. Something funky on this glass, hey? Feels like overspray or something.
I can hear that. It's like rough.
That's weird. It's that stupid tree out the front.
Do you have any newspaper around?
I don't.
Damn.
Do you?
No.
I downloaded my newspaper.
That's very environmentally friendly of you.
Yeah, it was more a joke, the fact that print media is dying. Our local newspaper legitimately is like 10 pages now. It used to be like 50 pages.
Oh, so they're not even trying anymore.
Like the Wednesday paper was the hot sauce, and then now it's just dead.
I bet your Woman's Weekly's still pumping. I see you're using your plastic clip remover instead of the breaker today.
Yeah, because these clips are new. I was hoping there's just a big void here, but not so much. How long is it? We'll measure it in anything but metric. We can do how many Pajeros long is this cable? It's exactly 2 Pajeros long.
What connector is that? I think that's a...
It's like a headphone style connector.
Is that a 3.5 mil?
I don't know, you're the audiologist.
I think it's the one below that.
Yeah, it is.
Which I don't know what that is.
Probably like 2 mil.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know, but yeah, it's got a...
Get your verniers out.
Okay.
That was very aggressive.
Sorry, Dad. 2.5.
Yeah, sweet.
What's the other one? 3.5.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
By one. We should actually mount the front camera first in hindsight, because it makes sense to mount the front camera and then plug this in to start our cable length.
Okay.
Start our cable run.
Yeah.
Oh, my favourite job, more glass cleaning.
Are you going to keep your yellow sticker there?
I'm going to try to.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it may not be successful.
What does that yellow sticker represent?
It's the Rego when it was in Japan. I think we're going to be able to sneak it in there. What do you reckon, Snapperazzi? Good thing is too, when you put it in the wrong spot, they actually give you another like double-sided tape that's already pre-cut.
Oh, awesome.
And they do, oh, this is so uncomfortable. What am I trying to do here? Get in nice and deep, like.
Oh God.
Oh, you broke it. That was my priceless crockery.
Running into everything.
It's actually a hoist pad, but don't let that get in the way of a good story. The one thing I did notice too, they said with the radar detector, you can't put it behind the mirror because it works front and rear. You've got to actually separate it.
Oh, so it sees behind it?
Yeah,
like
so the radar actually works on both ways, for both sides.
So it's got a sensor front and back, does it?
Yeah, so that is the front side, and then that's the back side.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Oh yeah, that'll work. Bang it up there. And this doesn't actually pull any data from the vehicle, it's purely just using the 3 pins. So you've got ground, accessory, and constant power. Cable management time. But what I do want to do is get our camera cable, because I'm just going to run both of these wires together along the front edge of the windscreen at least. The power cable obviously is going to run down and under the dash, whereas the camera cable is just going to stay high, like in the headliner. Can you grab me that trim tool that comes in the kit, please? Thanks, mate. That's pretty nifty, eh? There we go.
Could this be used without that sensor?
Yes, it can. So it's just an add-on feature.
Cool.
So you can definitely use it without the radar.
Yep, sweet.
But yeah, it was a cool add-on, and it comes with the radar and the OBD connectors like one kit, like an expansion kit.
So at least you've got the option.
Yeah, it's cool that you can do either or. Choose your own adventure, my friend.
How much mechanical skill you reckon you have to have for this sort of job?
2 out of 10.
Yeah, cool.
Like this is definitely a DIY job.
Yeah.
Even more so with the fact of the OBD wiring connector, there's 0 actual wiring.
Yeah, true.
It's just pulling stuff apart and putting it back together, because you don't even have to terminate wires or join them in or find power or accessory or any of that sort of deal. It's literally all part of it. So
I guess if you're really lazy, you probably don't even need to pull all the trim off. You can just, I don't know, double-sided tape it to the windscreen and run it however, whatever.
Yeah, I've definitely seen cable mounts. Not so much in this country, but in Japan you can buy double-sided cable mounts.
Oh, is that with
to
the
just
zip
run
tie?
the cable? No, it's literally just like a little saddle that clips around the cable, and then you just tape it to the edge of the window.
Yeah, cool.
Not my jam, but I mean, if it for like super quick, ease of install type of deal, that's going to be your go-to, I guess.
I don't know about anyone else, but if it was me from this point, I'd literally just do that, tuck it down there. No worries, no worries, no worries.
And that's why I'm putting it in and not you. This is why we can't have nice things, Gianna edition.
Hey, you have nice things.
Thank you.
Especially your Falcon. It's dreamy.
I love it. Can we go one episode without mentioning a Falcon? Nah. Oh, is this the time I work out where we don't have an OBD2 connector?
What's the difference between OBD2 and 3, etc.?
There isn't a 3. That's what the difference is. OBD just means onboard diagnostics.
Rightio. And they're all the same?
No, well, here's the thing. The original OBD connectors were manufacturer specific, and there was tons and tons of different ones. So in the 90s at some point it was mandated that everyone had to use the same connector. The problem was at the time they didn't actually confirm what the pinout was. So yeah, cool, everyone used the OBD2 connector, but not everyone used the same pinout and not everyone used the same language to communicate. So you still had, even though you could plug your tool in, it was still manufacturer-specific language and pinout. So, right. Yeah, from memory, all the power and ground stuff's the same across the board, but the actual positioning of like the ECU pin, the TCU pin, body control pin, depending on the manufacturer. Obviously, this doesn't have a TCU or any body control stuff. It's super basic. But in the 90s, even high-end Euro stuff would have had door modules and all sorts of stuff that you could have communicated with. But yeah, depending on the pinout of that, obviously depended on what tool you needed to communicate with what module, and yeah, it just created a whole minefield. So I think the OBD2 connector was then harmonized globally in the mid to late 2000s. Like I want to say around 2008, somewhere in that kind of era was when it was pretty much mandated that it all had to be uniform pinout, and all the emissions data had to be accessible with generic tools. Like my RAM's a good example actually. I can't actually, as dumb as this sounds, even after buying a $2,000 scan tool, if I want to use RAM specific stuff or diagnose RAM specific stuff that's non-emissions, I need to pay Stellantis Group a day, a month or a yearly license fee to use my scan tool on that vehicle, which blows my mind. I bought the car and the scan tool and I can't use them together, but that's a rant for another day.
So they've ruined the world peace among OBD connectors.
There's no more harmonization.
Yeah.
They're de-harmonized.
So does that explain, I guess, why I bought a cheap scan tool and it doesn't work with any of my cars?
On the surface, yeah, that's probably pretty fair. But there's also like different levels of tool as well. Like, what tool did you buy?
I don't know, but it was $30 off a cheap website.
Yeah, that price point, you're probably not getting a lot for your $30.
Yeah, was that just ever
under $200 you're not going to get a lot of goodness.
Yeah.
Like I feel like $200 is a bare minimum for a scan tool, and I suppose scan tool is probably putting it nicely.
Yeah, I see.
A calculator that talks to cars.
Right, okay.
Like some of the cheap stuff's just absolute garbage.
Yeah, I mean, you'd imagine it would be.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're spending a lot.
There's a happy medium, I reckon. Like I said, $200 is probably a like a reasonable home user level.
Yeah.
But for like $1,000, you can get like an entry level trade spec scan tool.
What does $1,000 get you over $200 technology wise?
$800 of bankruptcy. No, just different functions, communications, compatibility with more vehicles, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
You know how I was talking about those tape-on wiring clips from Japan?
Yes.
See him?
Oh, right.
So see, that's literally just like a little metal tab, and you fold it over the wire.
Oh, that's so cool.
And it's like, meh.
So why aren't you going to use it?
Because I'm not putting the wire there. I'm going to hide all this wire under the dash.
Okay, copy.
Because I don't want a bird's nest around my legs. So pretty much all we need to do now is just run that cabling all the way to the back of the car, which should only take another sort of 10-15 minutes. It's been pretty painless, to be honest. Oh no, I did it.
Oh no.
I said it out loud before the job was finished.
No.
Rookie mistake. I need my tool again.
The kick flippy one?
Yeah, the kick flipper. I've always hated plastic trims, hey.
Why? What's the other alternative to have?
No, there is no alternative, but I just don't like like I'm always paranoid about damaging or scratching or breaking.
Yeah, I think that's a worldwide thing.
Especially older cars, when the plastic is not supple anymore, like when it just doesn't have the flex it used to have. True. Did you notice where I damaged this quarter trim with the GoPed yet?
No. Oh no, that's real bad. Did you melt that with
muffler
the exhaust?
burn? Yeah.
Oh no.
I know. And then on the same day, I burnt my hand there with it. So it was a counterproductive day all round.
Yeah. Oh well.
The Milky Bars were not on me.
You heal, the car doesn't. That's my motto.
Yeah, true that. The car didn't grow back. When you're running cables, just make sure that you're not binding around a seatbelt or something. So this one, the retractor's actually inside the pillar there, so there's no issue as far as coming across that inertia reel or anything like that. We're probably less than an hour in at this point.
So I mean, I would take your predicted time and for you to install it and then quadruple it.
For you.
For me.
Yeah, but you're a cameraologist and this is a camera. Yeah, you do have to pull the seatbelt out because it's literally in the back of that grommet location.
Interesting.
So there's no way that you would be able to feed that in neatly. Should hold it out of the way. I might actually just put a bit of sheathing on it though, just around where that inertia reel is. That's just to stop it chafing. Like you just don't want to be running cabling across sharp edges.
Yeah.
So because that's just die-stamped plastic, die-stamped steel plastic far out. It's just going to be a bit of a mission. Yeah, cool. So you see now that's going to sit and protect the cable from that trim connector or trim clip, and also not going to rub on that edge.
Yeah, perfect.
Just drawing the cable through this boot, or through the boot location. Now I've actually got to get it through that cable boot. So what I'm going to do first is just bolt this all back in. We'll get the seatbelt remounted. Make sure that you silicone spray these boots internally when you go to feed the cable through. It just really helps draw that wiring through, especially, I mean, this one's a pretty short one, but some of the longer ones can really be a bit of a challenge to get that cabling to run through. So you want to make sure that you're loaded up.
And that silicone will just dry up once the job's done?
Yeah, it'll pretty much evaporate. And even if it does stay in there, it's really not going to be a concern either.
That silicone spray actually smells good too.
Wasn't too much of a mission to get it through there. Like I said before, the connector being so small, it's pretty easy to actually run it through the door boot.
Yeah, awesome.
And same thing, because it's going through that grommet, we don't have to worry about chafing or any of that sort of deal either. May as well mount the camera. What do you reckon?
Just on the back window.
Probably going to be about there. The cool thing is too, that bracket, you can clock it.
Oh, cool.
So you can turn the angle of the camera, luckily.
The confidence. So you've drilled that hole to the size of?
I don't know yet.
Oh, because you're going to work.
I'm going to get a grommet first, yeah. So I want a grommet that's going to be pretty neat.
You have all these random trays of just cool, handy stuff, like clips, grommets. What else? Actually,
that's like 20 years in the trade, bro.
Yeah. Do you have a fuse tray?
I have two.
Oh, damn.
I should have actually given you one. I should have just given you one of mine.
No, you're right.
Instead of making you buy it.
I've got one of my own now. It makes you feel rich.
And then you've got like cool stuff like you don't need.
So many multicolored fuses.
You're such a baller when you've got stuff you don't need.
Yeah, and I travel around with them now, so I can just offer anybody who may need one.
You're just offering people fuses.
I'm just jumping the gun with fuses.
Anyone who needs a fuse, see Gian at the next event we do.
Oh no.
He's the fuse guy.
I don't have two trays of fuses.
You've officially just called out that you're the fuse guy. Ta-da. Holy grommet. So it's actually a breather out of an LS rocker cover.
Too close, there we go.
It's a breather out of an LS rocker cover that I just sharpened the edge.
Oh, so LSs are useful for something.
Hammer it. LS is useful for heaps of stuff. When using a real wad punch and your LS breather, do it into the end grain of wood because it doesn't blunten your bodgy wad punch or your real one, because the end grain of the wood separates and you're not trying to actually cut the wood, apparently.
Another handy little tool. Deburring, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Nice.
I'm going to show you another handy little trick. After you drill through steel, use a paint pen to just seal the steel. Obviously we're going to put this inside a grommet, so having a bit of blue paint is really not going to be a deal, but it'll seal it enough that it's not going to corrode. When you're trying to push on that, it's got no strength and it just folds over. So this cable being thicker and heavier and also coming from the top side, we'll just basically push it through the panel, tape it to this, or tape this to the reverse camera cable, draw it through. We'll put our grommet in and make our connection, then we'll actually put this connector back inside the tailgate, because obviously due to cable length we'll end up with excessive cable length.
Sounds good.
And hopefully my cool stories actually turn into running a cable easily.
Cool realities.
Ooh. Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh no.
Oh. Ruh-roh.
Oh no, have you drilled a hole for no reason?
Maybe some problem.
Oh no.
We might just have to drill another hole there.
Oh no.
Well, it's a box section.
No.
Oh, hang on.
Aye.
We've got cable there.
Benny the Wizard.
But the good thing is now we can just draw this straight through. Another handy tip is to put tape on the front edge to try and flatten that off.
Ah, yeah.
So that it's not grabbing when you pull it back through. But this panel, it's a pretty short pull anyway, so shouldn't be too big of a drama. And we're through already. You can use all sorts of stuff to pull cables through. The limiting factor is how big you're pulling, or the hole that you're coming through is. So for this particular thing, I didn't want to drill a 1-inch hole through the top here, or a 25mm hole. So I've just gone for the cable, but normally I'd use like a flooring tongue, like yellow tongue flooring joining strip. It's actually really good for pulling cable. Or the other thing you can use is like -3 AN hose is quite good for drawing cable as well. Obviously a bit more expensive, so don't go wasting it. So just for an extra bit of reliability and not having to pull this apart and do it twice, it's a good idea to just tape all your joins, any of these like push connectors. It's quick tape and it will help seal it from moisture and that sort of stuff as well if you're in a harsh climate. Good bit of tape never hurt anyone. Like if you filled it with glue-filled heat shrink, not ideal. But a bit of lecky tape will get it sorted. Hope I drilled the hole big enough. I didn't even measure it, I just guessed with the step drill. Just trying to get a marshmallow in a money box. Oh yeah, I just need this to just pop that lip down. There's nothing worse than drilling a big hole and the grommet falling through. Grommet in.
So neat.
Will do the job. Like the thing is too, even if I put this in the Ram, it's not going to be on the tailgate, it's still going to be on the back glass of the cabin.
Yeah.
So it's not like you've got to run it 8 meters. It's not a reverse camera.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run 8 meters of cabling. Because the dash cam, you can kind of tuck it wherever you need. And that's now in there. No dramas. Awesome. Inconspicuous. That's pretty cool, eh? So that's the radar sensor. And every time it flashes, it's picking something up. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
We've got it all installed. Now we'll go for a bit of a road test and actually have a look at the footage and see what it looks like on the road.
Audio recording disabled.
So you got 4K or 1080p. It's not really intrusive in your view, hey? Like I'm not looking at it. And this is a very small car too. So a larger car, you're gonna have less of that, obviously, in your range of vision as well. DDPAI actually like an OE supplier too. Like I said, they supply Volvo and Geely.
Oh wow, okay.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another feature I really like about the DDPAI camera is the special SR effect. It shows you all kinds of data about other vehicles moving around you, and yeah, I think it's a really cool function and a nice addition to an already pretty feature-packed dash cam.
Now we go back and put some suspension in it.
Sweet.
This sus dude just standing there like a dodgy bloke.
Rookie, I didn't have my hoodie on.
Yeah, I know, you didn't cover your face.
You're upgrading these mainly because of the colour, right?
Yeah, exactly. So do you want to hear a funny story about these shocks?
Is it colour matched with the Frozen logo?
It's not, but you'll never let that go. I bought two sets of shocks for Pajero Mini, and I did make the mistake of assuming that Pajero Mini and Pajero Junior use the same shocks. And as it turns out, the strut length on a Junior is completely different to a Mini, and the rear shock length is also different. The mini rear shocks would probably work still, marginally different length, but the fronts are absolutely just totally outrageously different, and I'm sad about it. That being said, if anyone needs some Pajero mini shocks, hit me up because I've got a spare set. So what I'm actually going to do is use the ones that I attempted to fit to the Junior yesterday in my mini, because I was going to replace them anyway. So then it means there's still a brand new set in the box. So if you need them, get in my DMs. Pulling out some shocks. These are the original shocks, hey. I wish we'd put new shocks in it when we did the lift. Because these shocks, the rears are fine probably, but the fronts are definitely not great. Shocking revelation. The problem with an imported car is you can't get parts for it. Luckily, I have a really good dude in Japan who helps me out with stuff and sends it. Like these, I literally ordered these last week.
There's quite a few in the country now.
Yeah, they're getting pretty popular.
I see why.
Not many juniors, like very few juniors compared to minis.
What's your theory behind that?
They're just harder to find. I think there was just very few juniors built compared to minis when they were new.
I guess that would mean they're more expensive as well.
Yes and no. A nice manual junior is very hard to come by.
Okay.
So like they're pretty pricey, but if you wanted an auto one, a good auto junior is probably the same price as a really nice auto mini.
And is the difference literally just the junior's a tiny bit bigger than the mini?
So a mini is a K car in size. So physically it's narrower, but the actual body dimensions are the same. So a junior has a wider track and factory fitted flares.
Oh, okay.
But the biggest difference is the junior has an 1100cc NA engine, whereas the minis were 660 NA or turbo.
Wow, cool.
So I guess it just depends on what you're really after. But I will say this, driving the Junior after driving this Mini, it's so much torquier. The Junior is torquier.
Yeah.
And it's way better off-road. Sorry, way better on-road.
Oh, rightio.
Like as a road car, way better.
So, like, you can go 110 in it down the
It'll do
freeway
highway
kind of thing?
speeds comfortably.
Yeah, cool.
Whereas this thing's like, not loving it.
What about towing capacity?
0.
On both?
Well, they don't officially have, like this tow bar, lol, doesn't have a rating.
Okay.
Because it's from Japan, technically there's no tow rating on it, so
Okay. So they don't
can't
have
legally
tow
tow
ratings.
anything with it. Well, strangely, I didn't think
Oh,
tow bars
sorry.
even existed in Japan.
Okay.
And then randomly I found this one. Like Pajero Mini, for whatever reason, seems to be one of the only cars you can actually buy a tow bar for in Japan. And then even funnier, when I got this tow bar, it had like fishing and boat stickers on it. So I reckon someone had been towing a small fishing boat with it.
Yeah.
Just like a little tinny or something.
Yeah, that's right. That would look so cool.
I towed my golf cart trailer with it around the block. I had no plans to actually tow with this other than moving stuff around the yard. So I've never actually wired the lights in.
Yeah.
So this doesn't have trailer light wiring at all.
Right. Do they have many dual cab utes over at Japan?
No, not really.
That's interesting.
Over at Japan.
Over at Japan?
What? No, I didn't really see many. Hilux is starting to pop up, and I think they've also got 70 series Land Cruiser now, like in dual cab. But no, it's not. There's not a bunch of cashed up tradies like there is here.
What are the Japanese using to tow their boats around?
They don't have boats. You know what? Japan just doesn't have a lot of trailers. It's just the whole thing is very confusing. Just typically not trailers. Or they're using, you know why though? Because like they've got a little light truck for every purpose. Like there's no car trailers because you can go and hire a small tilt tray for like $110 a day. Like why would you own a car trailer?
Yeah.
Because then it means you don't need a tow vehicle. So you can have a K car and a track car, and then you just go and hire a tilt tray for the day if you go and do a track day.
Oh, that's so cool. And I think...
And you only need a car license to drive it.
Oh, And I think at some tracks, don't they let you keep your car there?
Yeah, but I don't think that's free.
Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't be.
Yeah, like you'd be paying to store your car there.
But it's cool that it's an option.
Yeah. You know what I love? Not coil spring compressors. The good thing is though, because they're already on struts, you've only got to really clamp them down enough to undo the top. I might actually just try and cut the bracket off the current shocks, seeing as they're going in the bin. Because yeah, on a Pajero Junior, that bracket bolts to the backside. It's just a different layout, like even the brake lines are totally different. But it might be a year model thing too. I mean, I can definitely do it without taking this out. There's no point making it harder on yourself than it needs to be. So I'd say that these are probably like H58A Pajero Mini shocks, but they must list them for all eras. That being said, that bracket does line up with a H57A Pajero Junior, so I'd assume that it's probably a year change thing, because this is, my one's a 96, I think, and Adam's one's a 97 or a 98, so that may be a year model thing, not a generational change. But yeah, that being said, they'll still be perfectly usable. The clevis is the same width, the bolts are the same diameter. The height is correct for a Mini, so that's all good. So now we get the spring compressors of death out and get to do the spring swap. Kablamo. Don't ever put your face over the top of the spring once you put a compressor on it. Struts in face is not fun. These things need to be treated with a lot of respect because there's so much stored energy in these. I still hate using these after years and years and years and years and years and years. And then these ones, because the spring coils are quite tight, it doesn't want to hook on completely. Oh, it's the shock. I was like, what's happening?
Oh, same.
My brain was fully
man.
like, what is going on?
I was about to back up.
Yeah, I'm like, hang on. This is looking bomby. But the shock's munted.
Yeah, I see.
Put the loaded trap away. Yeah, so that shock's munted, which is good.
So it shouldn't actually move.
It shouldn't be going in, no. Bad one.
How do you tell if they're on the car and bolted up and all that?
It'll probably knock.
Okay.
That one knocks.
I hear it now.
Hello, you there? Mr. George. Where's the boot?
It sort of annoys me that they're called boots. I think it should be called covers.
You can call it a cover if you like. I'm not going to judge.
All right. You're a nice guy. Thank you. So you're safe now that's on, basically?
Pretty much, yeah.
At this point, you probably cross your fingers still, though.
Yeah,
maybe.
for sure.
Yeah.
If that like released with speed, but at this point before you back the clamps or the spring compressors off, you want to make sure that the spring's aligned in the shock and the top hat.
Yes.
So there's a little step there that the spring locks in or locates in, and same with the top hat. There's a step there. You definitely want to make sure that they're locked in and in the correct spot, because they are a bit of a mission to get back in the correct spot, or can be a mission to get in the correct spot once you back the compressors off, especially with this setup and your Impreza being that they're lifted springs on stock struts. So that is now no longer under tension.
Lovely.
But we need a hammer. Don't recommend, but it gets the job done. But I reckon cutting those off will be better than spending half an hour making something.
Yeah.
Half an hour's a lie, but still.
Yeah.
Even if it's 10 minutes, if I can literally just chop them off.
And then weld them to the other one?
No, I'll fold them and bolt them, because there's already threads in the other one.
Yeah.
It's just they're not spaced correctly.
Okay.
It's 90 degrees opposed to where the current ones are. That shock's not as dead. Shocking. A good way to remember which way the spring goes is by having putting these at the top.
True.
If you get into habits, it means you'll just always do the same thing.
True.
Time after time, job after job. Same thing, don't point it at your face. We've actually compressed this one more than the other one. Click. Never even close to dying.
What happens if you go too far?
Kablamo. You really want to just nick through that. Hopefully it'll stop knocking now. Like it's had a knock in the front end since I've had it. And I reckon it shocks. Just going to basically drill a hole in these and then fold them 90 degrees. And then they will bolt to the new struts.
Man, bolt collection is still going strong.
Yeah. It's crossbred now though, there's a lot of forward bolts in there.
That's awesome. Oh, that is meant to hold the brakes, but...
Yeah, but it's because they're just different year model things really, is the answer.
Yeah. So you just adapted it to fit.
Just make a bracket, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Innovation.
Yacht!
Did your dash cam say something?
Yeah, it just had a wig out because I chucked this tyre on and it actually detected motion.
What do you look for in when the oil's draining?
How much is in it? If it's real murky, if there's chunks, if there's sparkles.
This looks all good to you?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sweet.
It's kind of oil you'd expect after 5,000 Ks in a petrol engine, especially a turbo petrol engine. Like it is going to smell fuely, especially if it does a lot of cold starting. Nailed it. And the reason I've done that is so that I can put the bolt back in without struggling, because it is quite a tricky bolt to get in and hold the airbox in the right spot. That'll do. That works heaps better. Still want to make a snorkel at some point. Because this is a completely sealed system with joiners, and you go silicon out of there, 90 silicon to tube, it would be fully sealed.
Yeah.
But some of the plastic ones like Toyota, pretty sure the factory Toyota like 70 series snorkel is not actually watertight.
Right. But then the other thing is the blow-off valve, doesn't that get water in it if it's sort of
Yeah, but it's
open?
never going to be open.
Yeah.
I doubt you're going to be
blowing, like,
off throttle,
out,
on
right?
throttle.
Yeah.
Well, it's shut. It's only open when you've got the throttle shut for a second anyway, and it's got air pressure coming out. It's never open.
Yeah. And
If the
sucking
blow-off
in.
valve's functioning properly, it's never going to draw unfiltered air through it.
Yeah.
No.
Do you clean all the bottom of this so that you know
When it leaks
if there's
again?
any new leaks
Sure.
after this?
Sure. I just clean it out of habit.
Yeah.
You don't want to give a customer their car back and then it drips oil in the driveway.
Yeah.
Then you have a sad customer.
Yeah, true.
Apprentices go and clean driveways sometimes. I've been that apprentice.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'd hate to do that job at an angry customer's house.
Yeah, bro, it's never fun. You only do it once. It's the sort of thing you only do once.
Yeah.
Like leaving brakes loose. Did it once. That's part of the problem with our industry. First year apprentices unsupervised doing brakes. Like that's as much on the shop as it was on me. Like I'll take that, but there still was a level of a first year apprentice should not be doing
of course.
brakes and services completely unsupervised. Get some oil in you. You can hear the air come out of the crankcase coming through the catch can.
Oh, there you go.
Bloody awesome, look at that. Make sure you get your fingerprints on it. Well, that pretty much rounds out another episode. We've got a few jobs done on the Pajero today. Got the shocks done, a service, and we've also fitted our DDPAI N5 Dual dash cam. If you do want to pick one of those up, they're available globally through all leading retailers online. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.